Ooh, if it, yo. What's going on, people? What's going on, people, man? It's Wednesday, so you already know what it is. It is the heavy hitters coming at you live. So go ahead and tap in once you get in here. K Styles here, right below. You see him as Mad Mike Sports, the senator.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. And right at the top, you know him as the Don, the Summer Hill Nightmare.
Whoop that trick. Whoop that trick.
And right below me, you know him as the Minister, Jew Talk Sports in the building.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Thanks for joining us, Trent.
Yeah, excited.
And as you see, our special guest for this evening, we got Mr. Trent McGee, a.k.a. he is the Indiana Hoosiers representative, as well as the Kansas City Chiefs representative as well, man. Trent, man, appreciate you coming on with us, man. How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm a national champion. I won a lot of Super Bowls, and then I got myself a natty, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to talk to you all.
You were lucky, man. Y'all in for a treat today. Let me just say something real quick, man.
Oh my God.
Y'all in for a treat. This man is like the best. He's like the greatest man that ever lived. I'm talking about some Austin Aries type shit.
God almighty.
Listen, this man right here, you grew up where?
In Kansas City.
In Kansas City. Don't y'all know Kansas City is the barbecue capital of the world?
God. It is.
It's the best barbecue capital of the world. And we're going to say the barbecue question later on in the show.
Okay.
All right. But where do you currently reside right now, Trent?
In Ann Arbor, Michigan.
He lives right in the backyard of my school. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh. man, look, man, I just gotta touch the hem of your garment. I feel like you the luckiest man.
All right, Don.
Man.
Okay, boy, Don, you over here got crunchy draw syndrome right now, boy. Hey, man. So as you hear, the shenanigans is on 10 right now. This is gonna be a fun episode, y'all, man. So today we're going to be talking about draft hopeful Elijah Sarrett. Is he a fit for the Falcons? And we're going to get into some of this Kansas City talk too, because I heard the Kansas City Chiefs made a major move today. And I want to get your thoughts on that, being a Chiefs fan itself. So go ahead, Don, man. Got the introduction out the way, man. The floor is yours.
All right, so Elijah Sarrett, what are the body of work of this kid, Trent? Which can you describe to the listeners?
So Elijah Sarrett is how he pronounces his last name.
Sarrett, my bad.
Sarrett, okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. His nickname is Waffle House. His dad gave him that nickname because he's always open. Like, that's his thing. And Elijah Sarrett came over from James Madison with Coach Signetti. He started actually at, I think, a D2 school like St. Francis his freshman year, and then transferred to James Madison before where his brother was under Kurt Signetti. He got there, became a receiver, transferred to Indiana. 2 years ago, he was our best receiver. And then last year, he missed a couple games. So I think some of his statistics aren't going to look the same. Like, he wasn't in that Penn State game with the famous Omar Cooper Jr. catch. But he's just a clutch. He's clutch, man. Like, I put it out on my Twitter because I knew I was coming on and talk. A bunch of clips from him just making just huge catches, and I could have kept going on and on and on because he's just a clutch guy. I mean, we'll get into this in more detail, I'm sure, but like, I didn't necessarily 2 years ago think he was going to be a pro. And And I think last year, obviously, with a lot of these Indiana guys who developed over the last couple of years, he's one of those shining examples of the development program that Cignetti has there. And now he's getting talked about as, second day, third day draft pick.
Yeah, I remember you brought up last year, and that kind of hurt because I remember we lost to y'all. So, and he made some great plays in that game too. So,
yeah, I mean, I just want to point out, I don't know necessarily if Indiana won that game or if Sharon Moore
y'all
lost
won
that game by not kicking field goals instead of going for touchdowns in the red zone over and over and making bad coaching decisions. I'm really sad he's gone, to be honest with you, as an Indiana fan.
Man, look, he was more concerned about looking at that doggone assistant on the sideline, man. I'm glad he's gone.
I think the new recruiting coordinator from Texas also is probably glad he's gone because she's a looker. So I was shocked that they hired her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, I'm not. Look, I'm clear. I'm trying to win. Look, we trying to run it back. I'm trying to win the Natty.
Yep.
We got the right coach, and you look, it's going to be interesting between Kyle Whittingham and against Senegi. So,
yeah, for sure.
I'm looking
He's a
forward
great
for that.
coach.
Yeah, he is. He is. But the Waffle House name is wild to me because we had a player here in Atlanta that we used to call Waffle House.
Really?
Yes. And guess what? He was also coached by Kurt Senegi in Alabama.
Julio Jones?
Yep.
Nice.
Am I lying, you guys?
No, we don't call Quintero's Waffle House. I don't. We don't even mention his name anymore.
We don't, but back then when he's kind of a tabooish name that we really don't try to bring up as much because how he exited Atlanta was not good. But when he was here, the highs of Julio, they was calling him Waffle House.
But yeah, it's great. The Waffle Houses, and you know this, being up the Midwest, and someone was telling me he's from Chicago as well. There's no Waffle House up where we're at. So, in Bloomington, Elijah Sarrett would talk about that all the time. There was an NIL deal just waiting to happen, and there was no Waffle House in Bloomington. So, if he goes south and goes to Atlanta, I think he's going to be happy.
Look, man, you just gonna bring up the coach of the city. I can hear it now. These players, man. That Waffle House right there, man.
Nope.
They're gonna call it Waffle House Junior or something like that because they're gonna get it. They're gonna still respect Julio.
Yeah.
Mike, what you think, man?
About what exactly?
Elijah.
I'm trying to figure out who he reminds me of when I watch him. I haven't really gotten a clear answer.
I got some names to throw out if you want me to throw out some names.
Go ahead. Yeah, I can't quite get it.
So, probably, a baseline comp probably in Jacoby Myers, just because the thing about Elijah and why I didn't think he was going to get there is his speed, and he didn't run at the combine. So I'm interested to see when he runs at the pro day, what his speed's going to be. But man, he's got some good size and just sure hands. I was when I got on, you guys were talking about the national championship game. He had that big drop in that game, and I was very nervous at that moment when he dropped that ball because he didn't do that in his 2 years. He hardly ever dropped the ball, and so he comes in and he's just a contested catch guy. He's that back shoulder throw. He actually sent Devontae Adams highlight clips with Aaron Rodgers to Fernando Mendoza and was like, "Hey, we got to learn this." And Chandler Whitmer, your guys' old coach down there in Atlanta, who had come to be the quarterback coach at IU, he helped develop Fernando to be obviously a Heisman Trophy winner, but also work with the offensive coordinator, who's also the receivers coach, to come up with that back shoulder. And we saw it with Surratt. We saw it with Charlie Becker in the national championship game. I honestly, my favorite comp from him is Keenan Allen. He's not as tall, but he's just like that sure-handed, going to make those clutch catches, especially over the middle, is just a guy that can do that in the league, and hopefully Michael Penix is going to be able to get him the ball if he ends up in Atlanta.
I was gonna say Michael. Like a lot of people here in Atlanta, I've been comparing him to Michael Jenkins.
Okay.
You remember he went to Ohio State. I hate that school.
Yeah.
And he played for us, but the first years of his career, he didn't look so good because we didn't have a quarterback that could throw the ball, and everybody know what I'm talking about. But when we got Matt Ryan here, he became a wet. He got paid. Yeah. He became a wet. I think he was a Pro Bowler one year, I believe. I'm not for sure or not, but his production went up. So we have a quarterback, Michael Penix. He's very accurate. Yeah. Of course, you know Michael Penix very well.
I know Michael Penix real well.
So I think adding him here to Atlanta, but we'll get to that topic in a minute. But just I compliment to Michael Jenkins.
Yeah, it's real familiar to me. I'm because it's kind of the way his body size kind of reminds me of Roddy White. I'm seeing a lot of Roddy White in him, but it's something about his game is just kind of familiar. I like the way he fights for the ball, very physical. I just can't put my finger on it, but I do like the fact I think it's his feet. Maybe it's his feet. Maybe it's something like I just can't put my finger on what it is, but I like the fact that he's very physical. That he's physical, and it's probably the offense in itself, how they use it, because they use a lot of quick passes, get the ball out of Fernando's hand, and I think that's the thing that I like. I want to see him in a lot more crossing routes with a frame as big as his. I think he'll be a whole lot better across the middle. But I do like the fact that he can play inside. I do like the fact that he can play outside, obviously with those fade routes and whatnot. But I think I would like to see more of him going across the middle. I think that's the thing that's probably incomplete for me. But I love the body frame and how he runs after the catch.
Well, I think I did a little homework to come on and talk to you guys. One of the things that with Stefanski going to Atlanta, if he keeps his run heavy scheme there, which he should with Bijan, unlike Arthur Smith, he will actually give the ball to Bijan. Right. Then you're going to see a lot of man looks. And a guy like Sarrett had one of the highest grades in PFF for man coverage in college this past season at 89.4. And so I think a guy like that, I mean, it's different, right? I mean, that's the hard part is can his athleticism translate? That's the big catch with guys that were not pedigree guys, 5-star guys. So there's a reason why they were a 0-star coming out of high school, is because they didn't have the athleticism. So his man coverage in college might be way different than that. But he's going up against some major corners in college that are going to play on Sundays, and he was holding his own with that man coverage grade.
Especially against Ohio State.
You know what? I think and like you said, Average kind of got an opportunity to watch him a little bit. I think where you might be thinking, Mike, because I know for me, he kind of reminds me of a little less physical version of Anquan Bolden.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said,
because like you said, like it's pretty much just that. It's that catch radius. It's that catch radius.
Yeah.
And that catch, and the thing is he's very, very he's a very sure-handed guy. And like you said, Anquan Bolden was a guy who wasn't necessarily that fast neither.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Hines Ward was the exact same. Terrence Matthews, a lot of guys. Terrence Matthews wasn't a big 40 guy. So the 40 doesn't really, for me, the 40 means very little. It's your ability to catch, to get open, and catch the ball. So I love the fact that when he catches the ball. But I if I were offensive coach, I would really use him a lot. Kind of like Puka, how they use him in the across the middle. Like I would use him like that. That's where I think his value. Playing outside, yeah, he does have that size, but his game for me, I feel like you can kind of use him how you use Kyle Pitts. Obviously, he's not as big as Kyle Pitts, but I think his game, I think
he'll catch more balls.
Yes, he would catch a lot of.
Yeah.
So I think I
y'all
got
remember y'all remember Machine Muhammad?
But Machine
Muhammad,
he played on the outside a lot. Like he had the ability to play inside, but he played outside a lot. I think Elijah, looking at his game, he will flourish in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got a name for y'all that y'all we missing. When I watched him on film, it was a guy that played in Atlanta by the name of Mohamed Sanu. That's who we must be in the mind of. When y'all talk about playing inside and outside, I don't know as far as his top end speed. When you watch him, to me, he got deceptive speed. So he may be a little bit faster than Mohamed Sanu. When y'all talking about playing inside and outside, he's around the same height, 6'2", 6'3". But y'all talk about his catch radius, his physicality. If you guys remember, prior to Drake London, we had Mohamed Sanu here that was doing those type of things. And that body type are similar, but he may be a little bit faster as far as top end speed. Because I've seen him make some big plays. This dude Sarrett, he made some big plays on film, as far as down the field. But if you're talking about what Mohamed Sanu was able to do in Atlanta, as far as being a blocker, a guy that was sure-handed on third down, can catch the back shoulder catches, that's who he puts me in mind of. So we all seeing similar guys. But I think Mohamed Sanu is probably perfect because Mohamed Sanu, if you guys remember when we got him, he was more like a blue collar player. He wasn't a guy that had a lot of pub behind him. And that's what I'm getting from this guy's like, because he started at James Madison and then kind of worked his way. And then he was on that big stage in the national championship and in the college football playoff. Before the college football playoff, I really didn't even hear about this kid, but he gave me Mohamed Sanu vibes. Prior to Mohamed Sanu coming to Atlanta, when he was with Cincinnati, he really wasn't getting a lot of shine either because he was playing with AJ Green. But when he came over to Atlanta, you guys remember he was the third down monster. When you talk about moving the chains, Mohamed Sanu was sure-handed, but he would do all of the dirty work. So I look at him as like a player similar to Mohamed Sanu.
Well, I'll add to that to back up your blue collar claim is that he in the Cignetti system, starters are expected to play special teams, and so he didn't play special teams in the playoffs because he did get hurt. So he was kind of moving off of being in that role. But like before that and the year before that, he was playing some special team stuff. And like the thing that Elijah Sarrett is known for and what we missed him in the 4 games, I think he was out during the regular season just with a tight hammy and Indiana could rest him, was his run blocking. Like, and again, you go back to what Stefanski's going to bring, like guys out can block and do the little things. Like we're talking about a mid-round draft guy, right? I'm sure Falcons fans and I as an IU fan want to see him be a number 2, number 3 receiver immediately, but he's probably going to earn his stripes by, playing third downs or blocking well, playing special teams, like those type of things. So it's one of the things that he's really talented at and something that's underrated about his game.
Man, that's what another thing too. I'm glad you brought that up because he always have y'all starters out there on special teams doing stuff, and we do need some special team players on this team. We really do because we need all 3 phases of the game equipped with players, and I think drafting Sarrett would be good for that. So the next question is, because we kind of already touch bases on like how does he fit here in Atlanta. I know you talked about in Kevin Stefanski's system. So because right now we are at the crossroads of contracts with Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Yeah. In my opinion, I've said this on the show previously, I think Pitts is more valuable to keep than London because you can do so much with tight ends versus receiver. Like, I'm not saying that we can find Not saying Sarratt's going to give us the same production of Drake London or to replace Drake London just entirely, but we know we have to put more depth into the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on Sarratt fitting here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, not knowing your guys' depth chart like you do, there's not a lot of names that come to mind. And even the two guys that you mentioned, like, I know you all have had trouble with someone slinging them the ball, but Kyle Pitts, you know the memes, right? You sound like a fantasy owner saying like he's valuable. Like there's always been this love of him and expectation for him that just maybe never has actually hit. And so I think it's interesting that you would choose Drake London, because Drake London just seems more reliable on a game-to-game basis. But that's me watching from afar. That's me watching gambling yards and losing him a lot of money on Kyle Pitts. So like, I think Sarratt, because he's going to be third, fourth, fifth round guy, is going to be that guy that can provide that depth. But I don't know if year one he's your second wide receiver, and I'm pretty confident he's probably not replacing Drake London if you guys do trade him or move on from him this year. So I think it's more about the depth thing, and he's one of those guys that, for especially getting I love Kevin Stefanski. I think it's a great hire for you guys. I think he in that system fits what he's looking for. Another guy, I mean, we're not talking about Omar Cooper Jr., his battery mate, but if you're looking for a high round guy, Omar Cooper Jr. Feels like a guy that could step in and be a 1 or 2 wide receiver next year.
Yeah, we don't even have a first round draft pick, so I think Cooper's going to be gone in the first round.
I think so too. I think so too, which is crazy.
Yeah, we're not touching him. So that's what I said. Like, Sarratt going to probably be our guy. You know. Yeah, so because right now we're not, because I know most teams talking about first round draft. We try to cover it. We look at every single round. Like, we don't just look at who's the best. No, we look at depth, because depth is going to go get your team far. It's going to get your team in the playoffs, and it's going to potentially get your team in the Super Bowl. So, Mike, what's your thoughts, man?
Again, about what?
How would he fit here in Atlanta, man?
I don't know. We haven't seen anything about Kevin. No, I'm kidding. Kevin Stefanski, like I said, man, he's a big body receivers in Atlanta, obviously, especially in this particular offense where you have our offensive line. Drake London, he's going to be asked to be physical. So I don't think the physical aspect of his game is going to be all that, enticing. I think more of the ground of the NFL, you're limiting his snaps is really you're going to get the most out of a young receiver coming out. I think he'll fit. I think that aspect of his game will be it. But I think having a guy like Drake London is probably the best thing for him. I think he'll be able to learn from Drake London and both Kyle Pitts, because both of those guys kind of use their physicality, and Kyle Pitts really turned it on last year with his physicality, a little bit more outside with his game. But I think Elijah, if he were to come to Atlanta, I think they would use him pretty similar to how wide receivers be used in Indiana. A lot of quick passes, get the ball out of his hand. I think he will probably succeed in a lot of those trip sets that we did not see a lot, and then out of stacking receivers and using their size, because that's kind of how Sean McVay uses his wide receivers. Get the ball out of their hand quick. A lot of stack route, a lot of stacking his receivers with tight ends, using that size. So I think he'll be able to fit what Kevin Stefanski does, because, I mean, even, with his size, he can be a kind of a undersized tight end if you put him in, what a lot of those, a lot of Falcons fans don't like the pistol formation, but I think he'll be able to. So I can do a lot. Look, like with big body receivers in Atlanta, and especially with Kevin Stefanski, and you can always find a a guy with speed in any round. So I'm not concerned about it, but I think he'll be able to fit perfectly in Atlanta, to be honest. Especially in this particular offense, because this is going to be physical, and we're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said something about Trent. You said Stefanski was a great hire for us. Well,
yeah.
A lot of the fan base they think otherwise.
Man, they're not watching what the Cleveland dumpster fire is.
Exactly.
I mean, I like, even, we talked about me being a Chiefs fan. Like, there was a part of me that's like, I wouldn't have minded if he ended up in Kansas City when Reed retires. Even though my official prediction is that Matt LaFleur will be the next head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. That is my official prediction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, yeah. But hey, he did shoot her wrong though, right? Anyway.
Well, we're not going down that road.
Nah.
We'll leave that.
Look. I was about to say, because that was a made up story that you should do a Saturday to boost that sorry ass Pro Bowl we saw.
Exactly.
That's all that was.
Interceptions in that game, whatever.
They needed to boot. They needed to promote that Pro Bowl because nobody was gonna watch it. So they gaslit everybody and used Shedeur Sanders as a prop tool to promote that Pro Bowl, and still nobody watched it.
No one did.
No one. There's more people watching the middle school football game than watching that.
Lord, like I said, if I wanted to watch the NFL Pro Bowl family reunion games, man, I just that's a whole nother story.
All right, Drew, what's your thoughts, man?
I think Mike was hitting it right on the head when he talked about Sarrett being like a guy that they're going to use in those trip sets. Like I said, I think he's similar, like you said, to a Drake London. But I really feel like what I like about his game is that he doesn't drop a lot of footballs when you talk about catching the ball. We know last year we had an issue with drops and stuff like that. When I look at him, he's just a consistent guy. That's why I call him like a blue collar player, because he doesn't necessarily wow you with the spectacular play. He can make spectacular catches, but he doesn't really wow you like with his speed or anything. What I noticed when I watched this game is just he's consistent, like he's reliable, and that's what you really need. When you talk about, especially the second, third, whatever you need as far as being a glue guy, I see him as one of those glue guys. Like he's gonna do whatever the team needs, whether it's special teams, whether it's if somebody go down and you need him to step up and be that number 2 guy, whether you need him to go in the slot. To me, he showed that he can do a lot of different things. He can block. He can do all the different things because he has the size. So what I like about his game is just he's versatile. You can use him in a lot of different areas. But the main thing I notice is his fundamentals. He's very fundamentally sound, can run routes, but doesn't drop many, put many balls on the ground. When you talk about wide receivers, he's very sure-handed. So I think that would, definitely be a big thing for us this year. Is having guys that can do the small things. I always talk about it. The fundamental things is what goes overlooked. And that's something that I think that when he gets his opportunities, I think that he'll be a guy that can step up to the plate and make plays. And that's what we didn't have enough of last year, especially after they let go of Ray McLeod and all the guys that we didn't have the wide receivers outside of Drake London at the wide receiver spot. Who was really making plays? You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like that's the biggest thing is we need to get more playmakers in here where we don't have to rely so much on Drake London. If they double team him, you have somebody that can be consistent. And that's why I brought up Mohamed Sanu. Because Mohamed Sanu was that guy when Julio Jones was double teamed. If it was a big third down, he wasn't flashy. He wasn't necessarily going to take a slant to the house. But we know if you needed 5 yards, Mohamed Sanu was going to get you 6. And that's what I see with this dude, Sarrett. I think he's gonna do whatever is required, and that's what we need.
Can I add something to that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead. You good?
Like it's hard to translate the college success to the NFL, right? Like so, let's assume he brings some of that to him, and the clutch gene, does it exist? Does it not exist? You watch a guy like Elijah Sarrett, who maybe doesn't have the athleticism, but is always in the right place, making the right catches. He had the game winner against Iowa. He had the game winner against Oregon. He had the game winner he had the winning touchdown, and there was a lot of stuff that happened after against Ohio State, the only touchdown for Indiana in that game. He just was always that release valve. And I think about a guy like Michael Penix, who's young, who's like trying to find his way in the league, trying to come back from injury, who's always open. Fernando Mendoza always would find Elijah Sarrett. And I think that's the thing. If he can translate that, it's going to help a young quarterback out tremendously.
And just like you say, for every Keyshawn Johnson, you had a Joe Jurez.
Yeah.
All right. For every Chad Ochocinco, for every Chad Ochocinco, you had TJ Houshmandzadeh. Like, you need that second. I'm not saying Sarrett could be a second, because he could be that reliable third guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Look, I was about to say 15 touchdowns on almost 13 yards per reception is nothing to slouch over.
Yeah, go in that thread also. I put a catch, because I mean there's a lot of back shoulder stuff. There's 2 catches that I put in the thread that I want to put in there. If you guys listeners at ST McGee on Twitter, self-promotion there. But like, there was UCLA, it's a short yardage, quick out pass, and he just kind of power forward bodied him up and easy catch, which was beautiful. And then there was one. It's one of the best throws that Fernando Mendoza threw all year, but it was Michigan State about 40 yards out, all in air yards, and Elijah Sarrett just picked it off the guy's helmet on a full sprint, who was right up in his gear. It was incredible. So again, Waffle House, he's always open.
Yeah, like you said, you get your hands on it, you're always gonna be open. And just to add on to as far as what he brings, think about this, Doug. David Seals.
Yo.
Boy, you didn't have to do that. You could have just left that to yourself.
David Seals, look, don't do that.
Darnell Mooney. Like I said, the thing about it is the wide receiver position down here has been pretty inconsistent outside of Drake London. Now, I know kind of like a lot of the viewers that are kind of watching, like you said, when we talk about, he doesn't really have a lot of that high top end speed. Like, he's not really a speed receiver type of guy. So a lot of people that's kind of watching is going to be automatically kind of thrown off of that. But it's a difference between 40-yard speed and game speed, and the speed when you get the football in your hands. And
effectiveness, period.
Effective. Yeah.
None of that. Guys like Hines Ward and Anquan Bolden, so many other guys, they didn't get open just using their speed.
Donald Driver. Donald Driver's another one of them.
And that's the thing. It's like, that's what I see with him. Like, he just finds a way to get open and understand his space. That's one of the most underrated aspects of being a receiver, is understanding space.
What was that receiver name for to play with the Broncos?
Rod Smith.
Yeah.
That was my initial comp. I ain't want to go that far, but that was actually one of my initial comps right there. Was
Oh, you know what? I just thought about it. He runs like Jerry Rice. That's who it is. He reminds his form and how he runs is very Jerry Rice-esque. Because Jerry Rice doesn't burn a lot of. He gets off the line, but he knows when to turn it off. And Jerry Rice was very physical. He was more physical than people thought he was, and that's kind of what I'm looking at Elijah Sarrett. Like, I know it's somebody, but I couldn't figure it out. But it kind of, if you look at how Jerry Rice runs his routes, Elijah does have to get better with running with certain routes. That's a given being a rookie. But like, when I look at how he runs his routes, he kind of looks like Jerry Rice.
One of you mentioned the Broncos. My co-host on the podcast, when we did our NFL comps for our draft guys, he put Cortland Sutton and as a kind of a comparison guy, like not a super speed guy, but big body, good hands. Always Bo Nix always seems to find him. That was kind of the comparison. So you mentioned the Broncos, and that made me remember that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Rod Smith, because and this is why I said Michael Jenkins earlier, because remember we drafted Jenkins to be our Rod Smith, because remember we had Greg Knapp as our offensive coordinator. He came from Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Because they try to replicate their same offense.
Yep. Yeah, you're right about that. I ain't think about it like that.
Yeah. But now I said, I we all come to, everybody had their own, because everybody's eyes is different. That's why every scout is not the same. That was the case that but
yeah, I mean, like pretty much, the Falcons are going to have to draft. They're going to have to address wide receiver this offseason, rather it does be in the draft or rather it be in free agent. Free agency wise, I don't really necessarily see them addressing it in that way, unless they're just looking for a low end speed guy. But they do need a legit consistent number 2. And like you said, Elijah is not one of the sexiest names going into the draft, but like you said, that production, and with him nicknamed Waffle House, and a lot of the people are calling him a QB friendly wide receiver. That's definitely a serious need to look at right there. I mean, when you get labeled as a QB friendly wide receiver, we got to take that serious.
But this is why I said I would much rather draft a receiver than free agency. Man, we done got the David Seals and the Darnell Moody's and Ray McLeod, bro. Like that, has it worked out for us? No, it hasn't. We got to start developing our talent through the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a one concern. I mean, Stefanski, who did he develop in Cleveland as a receiver? Like that would be like the best.
But here's the thing, though: did he bring the wide receiver coach over?
I don't know. Did he?
He didn't.
Okay, well, that's good.
He brought somebody over there. That's a good one.
I'm surprised you guys didn't bring Chandler Whitmer back. I made a joke when I was leaving the Peach Bowl that you guys weren't going to let Chandler Whitmer get out of the stadium. But he's now with Zach Robinson in Tampa, so you'll see him twice a year.
But here's the thing, though. Our coaching staff here, they weren't the brightest.
Girl.
They weren't the brightest.
Anybody that put David Seals on the field should not be trusted at all. 6 years, he ain't caught 30 passes all year, and you expected him to do that. Come on. Yeah. I'm glad those guys.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, just the Falcon situation in itself. Yeah. Dave, like you said, David Seals had he played a significant amount of snaps, and like 70% of the games, we didn't even know he was out there.
I know 70%. All of the damn games we didn't know he was out there. Okay.
But yeah, going back to I think Stefanski, he kind of tweaked it because he got somebody. Robert Prince is a great receivers coach. This man that coached Megatron and what's the dude and CD Lamb, all these, like he done coached all these receivers. So I feel like, hey, the first project could be Sarrett for him, and let's see if he can develop him. I'm not saying he's gonna make him into a Megatron or CD Lamb, but hey, we just need talent. We just need some receivers.
Nah. I gotta ask Trent this question here, man. Especially when it comes to Indiana, man. And a lot of people it was a lot of backlash behind Indiana winning the national title because everybody kept talking about how much older the players were compared to everybody else, man. I didn't want to know when they tried to make you feel bad about Indiana winning the national title. How many middle fingers did you throw up to them?
Well, am I allowed to cuss on this podcast? You guys not cuss?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm a big Kirkwood and Dunn, our podcast. We're big shit talkers, so like we were already getting everybody riled up before the game. Miami fans and Alabama fans are the absolute worst fans we dealt with throughout the whole thing. So we had a lot of receipts to go back and revisit from following the game. So I what is ridiculous to me is like things like Tony Elliott, Virginia's coach, like talking about Indiana's age, and Texas's AD talking about Indiana's age. Miami had an older starting lineup than Indiana did in that game. Like there's like so much misinformation about Indiana's age. Like, yeah, they had some veteran guys, but like go look at the last 6 national champions. Like they all had veteran players. Like Michigan in 23 had a very aged roster that had moved up and had success and like did that stuff. And so I think the biggest thing that I learned, and it's the real thing, is this was our Cinderella season. We had most people, like even Michigan fans up here in Ann Arbor, were like, hey, we're rooting for IU just make sure Ohio State doesn't win, like that type of attitude. Now, I mean, we are going to become hated, and that's I love it. Like your boos give me energy kind of thing. So I'm ready for it, and it's already been happening, and it's a lot of teardowns because the craziest thing is that we disrupted the college football establishment, and the college football establishment has, I mean, hell, they're trying to change all the rules because teams like Indiana are like doing what they're doing. So it is wild that we are the first national champions since Florida won in '96, and something that Oregon had tried over and over and over to do. And Indiana comes in 2 years and does it. And it's crazy. So you're going to get a lot of backlash.
But you know what, though? And this is like, I don't understand the backlash of people clowning y'all because y'all have an older roster. Guess what? I'm going to say it, you guys. The great Saint Bo Schembechler of the old former head football coach of the Michigan Wolverine, he said, those who stay will become what?
Champions.
Go to sleep. Go.
That's
sleep.
it.
All right.
Those who stay will become
Georgia
champions.
Georgia can. They can. Look, we had a 250-year-old quarterback. Okay, and Stetson Bennett. Okay, that bull was 500 years old. He was Methuselah out there trying to play. 28 years old. Okay, out there playing quarterback. I don't know how many damn years he played. And we talk about Michael Penix. So my thing is, so freaking what? What about the age? Can you play? All right, it's legal, all that type of stuff.
Also in this transfer portal era, everyone had a chance at these guys.
Everybody had it.
Everyone did. They just didn't take them. And a lot of those guys they didn't take. I know Georgia wanted Fernando, but like they didn't get him, and Indiana did, and everyone's butthurt about it. But you know. I can barely hear them over my national championship ring hitting the desk.
I think they staying in school. They staying in school to still be developed. You see some of these players leave college early. They try to go chase a check, and then they end up being the bus.
Mm-hmm. And I think what it is because Indiana was such a name that you didn't think would win a national championship, and the fact that they did. I mean, the thing about it is, like I just had to get information out. Like I said, Indiana has been an up and rising football program for the last few years.
Yeah.
And unconventionally, they ended up becoming national champions because, like you said, we're so used to seeing the Georgias and the Michigans and the Ohio States.
But
I mean, I'm a huge college football fan, like in general, and when Carson Beck got that ball back after the offsides call that would end the game on Carter Smith, our left tackle. And Carson Beck gets the ball back, and then he gets the roughing the passer, which, you know, suspect call, but whatever. They get it. They're moving down the field. They get down to, we call timeout because we're kind of on our heels. guys, I was sitting there. Obviously, I was stressed as hell. I'm sitting in the stadium, sold my left kidney to get into that stadium. And I'm like, sitting there just like upset, not only for being an Indiana fan, like this is so Indiana football, we're going to lose it on this. It also was as a college football fan that like for the first time, somebody is actually in this position, like to actually win it. And it's close and it's a tight game. And Carson Beck, of all fucking people, is going to come down the field and beat us. And luckily, Carson Beck does what Carson Beck does. Jamari Sharp intercepts the ball, a sigh of relief. And I should have known. I knew that all along. But yeah.
Hey, it was good. It was good for college football because they, like I said, we need to see the teams like Indiana who are like unconventional on the national stage win these national titles. And like you say, it wasn't like, okay, they snuck in as the back end. Nah, they were legitimately one of the two best teams in college football.
Exactly. And go ahead, K-Side.
And then, like you said, and it came to fruition at the end. Like you said, whether you feel like the team was older or not, hell, they got a football uniform out there. If you don't beat them, shit, that's your fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Trent, I know the feeling you had, man. I didn't go to the national championship game in Houston when Michigan played Washington, and I've seen them win the national championship before '97. But I was a small kid, and it's been so long. But I remember that night. So that was like the night that I'll just never forget. That feeling of just seeing your team, just all the heartaches and pains that you had to go through, and you witnessed that for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
Because who would have ever thought Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana?
Yeah. I mean, I'll relate it.
A basketball school, y'all won a football national championship.
I'll relate it to you guys. My greatest Indiana football moment until that point was probably in 2020. There's no fans in the stands, and Michael Penix Jr. does the reach against Penn State and wins us that game, and we go on and have like a magical 2020 season. Like that moment was my highlight of my Indiana fan. So like that I mean, obviously 23 or 24 and 25. There's so many more moments that have replaced that, but until Signetti got here in 24 and we were winning games like against Michigan or have like being ranked and like all those moments, that was the highlight.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. It's just being a fan. It culminates sometimes when you see your team just hoist that trophy up, man. Confetti falls.
Oh my God, boy! We should have never gave you another championship. All right, you gonna talk about that for the rest of your life.
Hey, they still have their banner up on the stadium. By the way, I drive by.
He got it on his
yeah, we do.
He got it around his neck, his clothes. Yep. He go to work with Michigan stuff on. He go out to eat with Michigan. He don't do nothing without Michigan stuff.
If they had Michigan condoms, he'll probably bump them shit all the way up.
Look, man, look.
Sharon Moore special right there.
That's a special kind of love right there, boy.
That was good.
See, Trent fit in right well, man. You see that?
Hey, y'all, we about to go ahead and segue to the last part. So this is the question that I wanted to ask you, man, because I know we got to end the show soon. When you lived in Kansas City, what was your favorite barbecue joint?
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know that this tells a lot about a person from Kansas City where they go. Oh, yeah. And I'm gonna and you will know this very well, being from going to school Jeff City and stuff. I'm a JoCo kid, so like I'm gonna take the stereotypical white suburban answer, which is Joe's KC, the gas station in Kansas City, Kansas. And I know. Like,
I love Joe's. Look,
but you know, Gates is
Gates.
like.
No,
yep,
I know Gates. No, look. Gates is like more of the, you know, the black people like Gates.
Yeah.
Because they like the sauce. It's the sauce. But other people like, you know, most people, you know, your low middle class people, they gonna like Arthur Bryant.
Yep.
All right. And then if you rich, you got
food. What in the world is going on?
It does draw.
It's located in different locations.
It's really like that.
City.
Yeah, it draws. It draws lines. Yeah.
You're not finna find no Church's Chicken in Duluth, bro. Do you? Yeah. You're not gonna find like we know Duluth and Buford, like that's the rich. I didn't know people still really ate Church's Chicken like that, but yeah, we do. This is the hood. All right, but like it's just like it's located in the hood, and then you got Fiorella's is like hold on, but Fiorella's Jack's that, you know, that's
white glove barbecue.
Yeah, that's rich folks barbecue. Like that's rich folk barbecue. Like you got to be like Warren Buffett to eat that. All right.
Yeah.
And then
damn
you
good
got
though.
You got the fat people place called Q39, I believe. Right.
Fat people place.
Yeah.
That one's gotten super popular. That one is
Andy Reid.
Yep.
He like that was all the fat people go is Q39.
Wow.
That's why Andy Reid that's why Andy Reid took the job in Kansas City, because the barbecue.
I thought it was the burgers. Shoot.
No, it's barbecue. He started a barbecue restaurant. He owns part of Q39, but he also owns Char Bar, which is like a bar district barbecue place downtown.
I gotta go try that this time I'm up there.
Yeah,
hey,
I know you love to eat, man. That's one thing about him.
But and then you got Joe's KC. Now Joe's KC is like the newest barbecue joint on the scene, but they taking Kansas City by storm. The past 30 years, I believe, and they won.
Started in a gas station.
Yep. I've been to Joe's. I've been to Joe's, but back then it was called Oklahoma Joe's. But then they chose to change because Oklahoma. Everybody, why they call it Oklahoma? It's Kansas City. Man, I don't give a fuck if they call it whatever. I'm still eating this barbecue. But and then they changed the Joe's KC.
Yep.
Man, look, I do miss Kansas City, man. Just barbecue and Hy-Vee. The Hy-Vee. They don't know that about the Hy-Vee.
Gosh, Hy-Vee, I wish it would get over here in Michigan. It stops at Iowa, but I wanted to get here. Quick Trip. Oh, man. Bucky's, I know Bucky's big popular, but nothing on Quick Trip. I love Quick Trip.
Yeah. But, man, look, I love Joe's KC. So when you go to Joe's, what's the plate do you normally get?
So I'm a big rib guy. So when I go back, I'll get a slab of ribs. Like I don't care. But if I do a sandwich, it's the Z-Man, and do it with burnt ends and not pork. So it's an onion ring on top, a little bit of cheese, a little barbecue sauce, and I love a pickle because that's big Kansas City thing. You got
you lying?
Dill pickle.
Why you lie? I used to get that.
Yeah, it's good. Great minds think alike.
Done having the fattest, loveliest time of his life right now.
I'm going to be welcomed back just every time anyone does something. Kurt Signetti's going to
look, Trent, you definitely coming back. You coming back. You would have been initiated into the family with this one right here.
All right, that's good.
Oh man, this has been a great show, man.
This man just literally sat here and had a food gasm live on him.
He's gonna need a minute. He's gonna need a minute following this episode.
Nah, man, it ain't food gasm. I had a Michigan gasm too. Shoes.
You need a cigarette too, Doug? How about that?
He's gonna need one of those naps that you had before.
Oh boy, who you telling, boy? and it was the damn wings that put my ass to sleep.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, before we leave out, man, we want to appreciate you coming on, man. But before you leave, man, let everybody know where to find you and find your content.
Yeah, on Twitter at @STMcGee is where I do kind of my personal stuff, and it is definitely Indiana focused, but you will see some Royals and Chiefs stuff sneak its way in there. But At Kirkwood and Dunn is our podcast. Yes, we did start it in the Signetti area, as Ohio State fans like to remind us that we did that. But, you guys know this. Like, you start a podcast because you're just talking to your buds and you're like, hey, I'm going to put this online, see if people like it. And that's what we did. And the growth has been incredible. So at Kirkwood and Dunn is our YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram. You can find that anywhere. Kirkwood and Dunn's our bar district down in Bloomington. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey man, appreciate you having us on. Appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate talking to you about Elijah Sarrett.
Waffle House.
Could be Waffle House Junior here in the city. That would probably the other fans would call him. But and then talking, college football and food.
You bet.
Sound like we're gonna have to make a road trip that over the way Trent at.
Well, no, you gotta go. You'd go to Kansas City if you want to come up for the Indiana-Michigan game in September. That's where I'm at right now. Here in Ann Arbor.
I might. Well, I forgot now. That's a game now because y'all ain't the old Indiana no more. So that's gonna be. I already know the seat's gonna be high.
Hotel rooms are going for $2,000 a night up here.
Hey man, you gotta let me crash on the floor, man. I can make a pallet if I go. Before I come in the city, just know I'll bring you to Detroit 75. I don't know if you heard of that restaurant in Detroit.
No, I'm just recent to Ann Arbor, like in the last couple of years, so I haven't really got to explore Detroit. So that's where I need to hit up.
I haven't been there, but I've been looking at it on the internet. But like that man, it used to be a food truck. But now they got like a restaurant now. They got like a lot of it's like halal food.
Yeah.
But it looks so good. They got some garlic parmesan fries. And what else he got? It's everything.
Is this what you do before you go to bed? You just scroll and look at like food places all over the city? Because that's awesome.
I do.
He does this all day long. Okay. It's a part.
I love that.
It's breathing. It's like breathing for him.
Oh man, that's great.
K-Style, take us out, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We got to get you back on here, man.
Absolutely.
You bet.
And like I said, man, got the NFL draft here coming up soon. So, like I said, man, this is a fun time to be a football fan right now. So, until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
No.
You here to stay?
Oh, yeah. Dig it.
You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the hell up out of here.
I don't know. Now I got to go. Oh, boy, I'm about to go fire these wings up, boy. God damn it, dogs.